All right, we're heading into week 2 of the NFL season, so it's time for my official power rankings. I'm ranking all 32 teams, 1 through 32. I'm watching 99% of all these games. An incredible week 1 to kick off the season, but let's just hop right into it. My bottom tier teams 32 through 23. Okay, easy call here, starting at 32, the Miami Dolphins. A dreadful and embarrassing performance. Fire Mike McDaniel, fire everybody. Kind of sad to see. Carolina at 31, I was incredibly disappointed with how Bryce Young played. Lucky that he wasn't even worse. Could have had a pick six. That got called back. They showed a little life at the end there, but I'm really worried about this offensive line, and the defense still can't stop a nosebleed. The New Orleans Saints, we knew the Saints would be bad, but I thought they weren't a disaster. They weren't great out there. Honestly, they had a chance to tie this game, but maybe that speaks to the quality of their opponent. I'm not a huge believer of the Cardinals, but the Saints aren't a disaster, and I think they could be a little spunky this year and upset a few teams. 29 in New England, I really hated what Drake May did this weekend. I thought he looked terrible, and I'm a huge Drake May stan. The Patriots defense was okay, but they got lit up by Geno Smith, 362 yards. They did hold them to only 20 points, but there was a lot of concerns with this Patriots team. The Giants at 28, the Giants have an elite defense, it looks like still. They kept them in, but Russell Wilson at quarterback was a dread to watch. Malik Neighbors fighting with them. It looked like he wanted to choke out Russell Wilson right there on the sideline. I think this team's going to go to Dart, maybe Winston here in a bit, but just kind of really tough to watch on offense. Browns at 27, I thought the Browns were competitive. Good defense. Joe Flacco managed the game. Both his interceptions, not really his fault, but the Browns found a way to brown it up. Tennessee, tough spot for them. I thought the defense was really good. The drops were killer for Cam Ward. He also wasn't super sharp. The protection was awful. Not sure they have a very good head coach either. Way too many suspect play calling and decision there. Didn't help his young quarterback at all, but the defense did a really nice job making life hell. The Bears at 25, what a disaster loss for the Bears. Caleb Williams looked better to start the game, but really, we're going to have to start having the Caleb Williams talk. He missed a lot of wide open receivers, several bad throws, could have easily had a touchdown that would have swung that game back to Chicago. And Ben Johnson, struggling in his head coaching debut. Not the best play calling, and really some boneheaded coaching decisions, not kicking the ball out of the end zone at the end of that game to preserve the 2-minute warning. Just dumb stuff from them. The Jets at 24, the Jets were spunky, the Jets were spicy, the Jets were fun. I kind of liked what I saw from the Jets, honestly. Defense was a concern. They got carved up by the Steelers, but I think they're going to be able to fix that, work it out. Justin Fields looked the best I think we've seen him as an NFL quarterback. Can he sustain that? I don't know, but Breece Hall found himself over 100 yards rushing. Garrett Wilson had a nice day. Fun game with the Jets, man. And finally, 23, the Colts. Look, I'm not going to overreact to the Colts blowing out a shitty team. I don't even think Daniel Jones played that well. He was efficient, but he didn't even do too much there. The Dolphins were just so bad, but eyes out, gonna keep my eye on them. They do play the Broncos this week coming up, so we'll see how for real they are, or if it was just like beating up on a really awful Dolphins team. But let's move on to my middle tier teams 22 through 16. Okay, at 22, I got the Cowboys. Honestly, Cowboys look better than I thought they were gonna look. Offense still really good. CeeDee Lamb gonna eventually learn how to catch a football, I guess. Run game wasn't abysmal. Now it does help. Jalen Carter getting tossed out of the game helped out that young offensive line. They were able to protect Dak, so we'll see how that goes if a guy doesn't get thrown out of the game for spitting on the first play. Defense was really bad. Did get helped by the lightning delay, though. They really stepped it up, but it was kind of a weird situation all around. So I think Dallas is going to be pretty competitive most weeks. The offense is going to carry them. I didn't have them being completely dreadful. 6 to 8 wins feels about right for this Cowboys team. Good to see Schottenheimer also not completely overwhelmed as a head coach. And maybe Eberflus as a defensive coordinator is a guy that works. Good defensive coordinator, bad head coach. Atlanta at 21, tough loss for the Falcons, but they really didn't do much all day. No running game to speak of whatsoever. Now, Bijan was awesome in the receiving game, had 100-plus yards and a touchdown. Michael Penix showed some flashes. There were some real slogs out there. Defense played pretty well against an undermanned Buccaneers receiving core, and they made Baker really struggle. So there are some positives there, but they clearly have a kicking issue. Younghoe Koo missed an extra point, missed the game-tying field goal. Defense also gives up the go-ahead touchdown when it looked like Penix had rallied them all the way back. So concerns for Atlanta, and it doesn't get much easier going to the Vikings next week. Arizona, winners, wasn't impressed really. 20-13 against the Saints. They didn't do really anything in the second half. Marvin Harrison Jr. had an early first half touchdown, as well as James Conner on a flip. But Kyler Murray's body language is just awful, man. If things start going bad, he is as mopey and terrible as it can be. And it just sucks the life out of the team. They were lucky to walk away with a win in New Orleans, it felt like. Cincinnati at 19, dreadful Bengals in week 1, but thank God the Browns browned it up They get a win, 7 yards of total offense in the second half. Really concerning stuff. Offensive line is bad. Defense, not good either. They did get a couple of picks off of some lucky bounces. Seattle at 18. I talk about the Seahawks team. Defense is great. Defense looks legit. They're going to struggle with this offense. Sam Darnold, fumble, maybe not his fault at the end of the game, but that's just kind of Sam Darnold's MO these days. Really not explosive. 150 yards and 124 with a JSN. Running game looks solid. Charbonnet and Walker both had fine days, but I think there are going to be a pain in the ass to watch for Seahawks fans offensively, but the defense feels legit. Houston, kind of the same thing. The offense really struggled. Now they played a very good Rams defense. Offensive line is a major concern for this team. The receiving core, I liked how CJ Stroud spread the ball around, but he wasn't super sharp all day. A lot of decent catches for a decent amount of yards, but the run game relying on Nick Chubb, it was nice to see, but not ideal. The defense was really strong for Houston. That back-breaking fumble cost them this game after the defense forced a similar fumble to give them a shot to win. So not the worst loss in the world at a conference on the road against a good team, but I'm concerned about the O-line. And 16, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were playing the Carolina Panthers, so I'm going to need to see a little bit more. But welcome back, Travis Etienne. A monster day running on the ground. Trevor Lawrence wasn't super sharp. He did throw a touchdown and also a pick, but the pick really wasn't his fault. Unbelievable play by J.C. Horn. Otherwise, Travis Hunter has a nice long touchdown reception, it looks like. But the defense was strong. Offense could be better, but I'm intrigued by the Jacksonville Jaguars. But let's get into it. What you all came here for by top 15 team. Okay, starting us off at 15 this year, I got the Las Vegas Raiders. Big win going across the country, taking a road one from the New England Patriots, and I was very impressed with how this Raiders team played. The defense was much better than I thought it was going to be. Pete Carroll coaching the guys up, not the super talented roster. Obviously, they have Max Crosby, an elite pass rusher, but all around, I thought the defense played really well, and the offense was what we thought it was going to be. A solid Geno Smith play action. Now, the run game really wasn't that good. They kind of struggled with that, but Geno had an excellent day, man. He was slinging that thing all over the field. Brock Bowers did pick up an injury. We'll see how that affects him, but they had the double tight end sets, him and Michael Mayer, both solid games. Jacoby Myers, I want to get traded. I want to get out. Strong day for them as well. I think they'll get the running game established as well once teams start having to really drop back against this passing attack. I loved the vibes. I loved it all. Raiders looking really good here. Now, not the most quality opponent, but that's a really strong statement win to start it out. They can keep this defense. Pete Carroll's got the D-fix, and they can just run the ball. Chip Kelly's got some really creative play calling out there. I think this Vegas team's going to be sneaky good. Now, it's a brutal division that they're going to have to go through, but I really like the Raiders and what they're showing so far. So 15 to start it off here in Vegas. Okay, I got my Vikings here at 14. What a bizarre game for the Vikings to win. I mean, they were dreadful for about 3 quarters against the Bears. The offense was awful. They couldn't get anything going. The defense wasn't great either. They were getting some stops, forcing a couple of field goal attempts. But I don't know what that halftime speech was. After the pick 6 from J.J. McCarthy, they lit it up. Outscored the Bears 21-7 in the fourth quarter, and they walk away with a win. Unbelievable performance. Maybe J.J. McCarthy just has it, man. Just what we saw from the first-time starter, first quarterback ever to account for 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns in his NFL debut. Incredible stuff. First guy to come back from 10-point down, first in the road since 1950. I mean, just all sorts of stuff. And this defense by Brian Flores is an absolute juggernaut. They don't play great coverage. They leave guys open, but they really were able to get a pass rush against Caleb Williams with 4. Now, they didn't tackle him at all in the first half, but it looked a lot better. They got to clean some things up overall, but if we can see consistent play like we saw at the end of that Bears game, maybe it was just the lack of preseason for this team. I think this Vikings team is going to be right back to being a competitive unit once again. So my Vikings here, unbelievable week 1 win, and maybe the start of something special in Minnesota 14. Okay, I got the Lions here at 13. A dreadful performance for the Lions. Now, Green Bay had all the juice. They've lost several in a row in Lambeau to the Lions, who they never lost to. So Green Bay was due for a nice home win, but this game could have been a lot worse. They get the late touchdown at 27-13. This game could have been 42-6, and honestly, it felt like it should have been. I have some major alarm bells going off. The offensive line was terrible. The protection was not nearly as good, and not just the protection, they could not get any push up front in the run game. And, the Packers just traded away like their best run interior guy. So that was concerning. The offensive coordinator and play caller really doesn't have much of a history of calling plays. He called plays for like the Jets in 2017 or something like that. That's also weird. He's an older guy too, first-time offensive coordinator. They hired from within the building. Just a lot of things screaming bad for the Lions. And Jared Goff is the last of a dying breed of quarterback. Man is an absolute statue back there. So if they don't get the quick pass game going, if he's not super crisp, it's going to get ugly. I mean, the interceptions, because Goff is predictable. Michael Parsons whooped Penei Sewell's ass on a play. Goff has to rip it out, and everybody knows they're ripping a short pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown on third down, jumps the route. So major concerns, and this defense was awful in the first half. They couldn't stop anybody. They did a decent job stopping the run game, but that secondary was Swiss cheese back there against those Packer receivers. I feel like the Packers let them off the hook a little bit here. So Detroit does have the pedigree. I'm going to keep them up here, but I'm very concerned what I saw from this Lions team in week 1. Okay, Rams here at 12 was an ugly win for the Rams, but a win is a win sometimes. And Matt Stafford's back, managed to hold up. Now, did he summon all his powers to throw a first half touchdown? Because the offense was kind of stale the entire second half of this game. Defense was fantastic. They made CJ's life a living hell. So this team's going to have to lead by their defense, I think. And the offense is going to have to be opportunistic for them. Didn't get much going on the ground. Kyron did get into the end zone, but wasn't much for him. And they force-fed Puka. Puka, 10 catches, 130 on the day. Devontae Adams had an okay day, 4 catches, like 51 yards, I think. So it was okay. Stafford missed pretty much all of training camp. I didn't expect the offense to look crisp. They have some offensive line issues, so they got to work some stuff out here. But it was nice to get that win. And if the defense is going to play like that every week, they are going to win a lot of football games. So as long as Stafford backs hold up, the Rams are going to be a interesting team. I think they're going to have some weeks where we might have to roll Garoppolo out there, or the corpse of Garoppolo. I don't know which one we're going to get. But the Rams, an interesting team. I think they have a very high ceiling, but they could fall off the wagon with a Stafford injury really, really quick. So Rams at 12 now with a lot of room to improve. Okay, I got the Chiefs down here at 11. We're not going to ultra panic about that loss, but there were some concerning things out there. I mean, they got thrown off course. Travis Kelce kills Xavier Worthy like 6 plays into the game. So that kind of screwed everything up. They're missing Rashee Rice. So their receiving core is now decimated. We're going to have to see if Worthy's going to miss any time or how long he is out for. Kelce did have a touchdown. Much better finish to the game here. The Chiefs' offense was dreadful. The offensive line is a show. Jawan Taylor, one of the worst signings ever by this organization. Just killer at right tackle. The rookie Josh Simmons struggled a bit at left tackle, as we suspected. He's coming back from an injury, missed some time, and he's a rookie in this league. Defense was probably more concerning. This defense could not stop the Chargers at all. Herbert sliced them up in the secondary, and that was a concern. And now we got some weird fighting. Chris Jones sells on the last play. They're fighting on the field. Don't love the vibes for Kansas City right now. The schedule is absolutely brutal too. Got the Eagles coming to town this week, and it feels like a must-win for the Chiefs, or they're going to find themselves in a situation that I don't think we've seen them ever in the Mahomes era in Kansas City. So I'm not going to quit on them just yet, because I did like how that offense finished the game, forcing them to really have to get a stop, and they just quite couldn't. So we'll see how they bounce back here, coming back to America. Again, Brazil international games are always kind of weird, but some alarm bells going off for the Kansas City Chiefs here at number 11. Okay, at 10, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another insanely fun game against the Jets. And how about Chris Boswell? I think Mike Tomlin said it best. Our kicker's a serial killer. 60-yard bomb in MetLife to get the win. Aaron Rodgers, nice day. 4 tutties for him. He looked pretty comfortable, man. You know, did take a few sacks, and he is also a super statue and cannot move. So if he's getting rushed, he's in trouble, but he looked really comfortable throwing the football. There was some bad off-throw stuff, but I liked what I saw from Rodgers, a lot more like he did finishing the season last year than the start of last season. They weren't really able to run the ball. It was kind of weird. Jalen Warren, their primary back, so they got to figure some stuff out. But Rodgers was willing to bite the bullet. He lined up under center. He ran play action. We haven't seen that in several years from him, so that's a positive sign. Defense was atrocious. They couldn't stop Justin Fields to save their lives, but they did make some special teams play. Like I said, the 60-yard field goal, they force a fumble on the kickoff after a touchdown to get the ball right back. So there was some real complimentary football down the stretch of that game. The defense, I think, is going to get it figured out. I do trust this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, maybe a little more than I should. But like what I saw from Rodgers, you know, we got DK Metcalf out there. We got Calvin Austin. There's an interesting wide receiver group here. Even Jonnu Smith got involved on a little pop pass for a touchdown. Ben Skoranek catching touchdowns. So lots to like about this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Didn't start off great, but they finished strong, got the win on the road. Steelers barreling towards another winning season once again here at 10. Okay, at number 9, we have the award for the team that hyped themselves up and read their own press clippings a bit too much, and that's the Denver Broncos offense. Man, the Broncos offense was atrocious against the Titans on Sunday. They are lucky to walk away with a win here. 4 turnovers for this offense. Bo Nix was not good, looking to scramble way too much. Did throw a nice ball to Sutton for the touchdown. The run game ended up getting going at the end of this, but really, I mean, Sean Payton just glazing this team all offseason, and they looked terrible. But thank the Lord, they have probably the best defense in football. This Broncos defense was nails out there, making up for those 4 turnovers, made Cam Ward's life a living hell. They couldn't get anything. They had to settle for 4 field goals. And I honestly, if it wasn't for the Broncos turnovers, I'm not sure they would have given up any points to that Titans offense. So unbelievable job by this Broncos defense. They come at you in waves. They can rush the passer with the best of them. They blitz well. They cover elite on the back end. This is a insanely scary defense. I think the Broncos are going to get the offense figured out a little bit, but you can't have more performances like that, especially against good teams on the road. You are really going to hurt yourselves and end up dropping some games. So Broncos want to see the offense get figured out here first, but that defense, boy, probably the best in the league. Broncos here at 9. Okay, I got the 49ers here at 8. A gritty, tough win for the Niners at the Seahawks. Like I said, I'm very high on the Seahawks defense. And the Niners just found a way to win. A lot of Christian McCaffrey, question marks whether he was going to play. He was back. He looked pretty good out there. A lot of touches. Ricky Pearsall coming along as it looks like a true number 1 wide receiver. But this team was so banged up. Kittle looked like Hall of Fame Kittle on the first drive. Gets hurt, doesn't come back. Shawan Jennings get hurt. They were really struggling for bodies on offense, and Brock Purdy just found a way. Couple of bad interceptions, but he got that Brett Favre gunslinger in him. Doesn't care, slinging it out there to guys we've never even heard of catching game-winning touchdowns out there. But the big thing is this Niners defense. They lost a lot of talent in the offseason, and we were questioning it. But come back, Robert Saleh. He knows how to call defense, man. The defensive unit did a tremendous job making life really tough for Sam Darnold and the Seahawks offense. So complimentary football once again. Special teams still ass. Jake Moody got to go. A missed field goal and a blocked field goal. Killing this 49ers team. This is a game that the 49ers have traditionally lost over the last few years, and in particular last year. They come away with a win. Very impressed with what I saw from Brock Purdy. May not be the prettiest game, but he finds a way to get it done, and he's got that dog in him. No matter what he plays, he'll find a way to bounce back for us. So really like the 49ers this season. They were a team that I thought would make the playoffs, and I loved what I saw from them in week 1. Got him here at number 8. Okay, number 7, another team that was really sloppy, kind of struggled a little bit, and it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they walked away with a victory. Look, Baker Mayfield was not good on Sunday, very inconsistent, but he found a way. Was their leading rusher, which really kind of helped escaping the pocket, moving the chains. That's what Baker Mayfield does. He's Baker, playmaker, and this is the guy, like I said, I've done a complete 180 on. I hated Baker Mayfield for a long time, and now he is that dude. Love the way he plays football. And how about rookie Emeka Egbuka? 2, count them, 2 receiving touchdowns for him, filling in for the injured Chris Godwin. Godwin's coming back here soon. They're going to get Tristan Wirfs back. I want to see some more from the run game. They kind of struggled to get that going, but Bucky Irving caught a touchdown pass. Mike Evans had a solid day. Defense was awesome against the run. We still know the back end isn't great. They did give up a couple of late touchdowns. Now, Chase McLaughlin had to make it a little scary, missing that extra point, which is incredibly unlike him. But Nails team, I thought the Buccaneers were going to struggle early and then get hot towards the end of the season. If they're going to grind out wins like this early, I know it's a bad division, but the Buccaneers are a real force in the NFC. Do they have that upper ceiling for a Super Bowl run? I don't think so. I don't know, but I'm never going to count this team out with a well-coached defense in Todd Bowles and Baker, moneymaker. Buccaneers here at 7. Okay, the Commanders of Washington at number 6. Look, Washington, I didn't love the entire game from them. I did like how they finished that game, iced that game out, because it was kind of close, 14-6 late in that game, going into the fourth quarter. Jaden Daniels was Jaden Daniels-esque. Pretty solid day for him. Had 60 on the ground, I think 60, 70 on the ground, 220 passing. So solid day all around for Jaden Daniels. We saw Bill, my man, get into the end zone here for them. Austin Eckler also contributed on the ground. They're going to figure out this running back position. Debo had a rushing touchdown and a solid day receiving as well. Terry McLaurin didn't really do much. And the defense kind of dominated. No, we don't know what the ceiling is for this defense. what necessarily is going to be, but Dan Quinn knows how to call a defense. They did play a terrible offense, but the Commanders took care of business for a team that has high hopes and high expectations for what they did last season. They played good enough, really didn't ever think they were going to lose that football game. And that's what you got to do. Division games are tough. I know it was at home, but nice win for the Commanders here. I want to see more, obviously, to see if they can reach that upper echelon as a true Super Bowl threat out of the NFC. But it's a good start. Nice win. Really tough matchup here on the road, short week, Thursday night at the Green Bay Packers. And speaking of those Green Bay Packers, got the Packers here at number 5. Now, maybe a little too low for some of your liking. I think this is just about right. I'm really more concerned about Detroit. I think the Packers left a lot on the table. If the Packers really wanted to come out big dick swanging, they should have put up a 40-piece on this Lions team. They were carving them up in the first half. I still have some problems with Jordan Love at quarterback. I'm not a huge Jordan Love guy. I think he misses some plays. And their receiving core, there's no elite top-end receivers, but they are very, very deep. We're getting my guy Tucker Kraft involved at the tight end spot. The running game really struggled all day, but it's going to happen against some teams. Josh Jacobs does punch it in. Defense was really strong. Micah Parsons' immediate impact, as you said, and that just covers for a lot of shit on the back end. Like, the DBs aren't very talented out there, and they kind of were going to get toasted, but Micah just makes it quick, and they can get gutsy, they can get aggressive, and they don't have to cover as long. I mean, Micah only played like 20 snaps, and he was insanely impactful for all of those snaps. I felt he was killing Penei Sewell out there. So, and it's just going to open things up for Rashawn Gary. So I do like the potential of this Packers team. Long term, there are some question marks, but for this year, very scary football team in the NFC. I want to see more from the offense, and maybe just the play calling in general. It feels like Matt LaFleur gets into these weird cutesy plays that kind of just stall out drives, and I just don't like to see it. Just go for the throat, finish them. Don't get too cute. Don't outthink the room. So Packers here at number 5, a very solid opponent on Thursday at home. Expect them to win that game. But if they blow out Washington, boy, the hype train's going to be for real in Green Bay. All right, who's got it better than us? Nobody. I got the LA Chargers at number 4. Maybe Harbaugh and Minter are just this elite head coach DC combination, because this Chargers defense put on a clinic for most of that game against Kansas City, and I was really concerned what we were going to get out of this defense. And my, oh my, the social media quarterback himself that everyone likes to shit on, my guy Justin Herbert, dicing up this Kansas City Chiefs team. Herbert was phenomenal in this game. You couldn't ask for anything more from him. Excellent on the ground, running the ball, threw for 300 plus yards all over the place. And it's nice that the Chargers maybe have another receiver like Quentin Johnson learned how to catch. He did drop a ball, but 2 touchdowns for Quentin Johnson. Also bring back my man Ladd McConkey. This was a excellent showing by the Chargers, and the offensive line held up really well. They moved Joe Alt over to left tackle after they lose Rashawn Slater, and they didn't really miss a beat. The protection was good. The run game could use some improvement, but once we get Najee Harris like seeing out of both his eyes again, he's going to get more reps. Pair him with the rookie running back Omarion Hampton, and Jim Harbaugh just knows how to prepare. He wins football games. It really is a thing. Man, one of my favorite coaches in the NFL, and I would love to see the Chargers be maybe a little bit of a shocker this year, but I love it. If Herbert plays like this week in and week out, this team is going to be really tough to beat. Now, the home crowd isn't great. That is, unfortunate, but maybe they'll start being buzz in Los Angeles for those Chargers. Chargers here at number 4. All right, I debated this one a lot. I ultimately stuck the Baltimore Ravens down here at number 3. I really wanted to put them number 2, but that was just too devastating of a loss to the Buffalo Bills. They dominated that game for 55 minutes out of. They looked unstoppable on offense. Derrick Henry, 169 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, has that back-breaking fumble. Lamar only completed like 14 passes, 17 passes, something like that. Was really efficient, though. He didn't have to throw the ball. Zay Flowers going for a $143 out there and a touchdown, and Lamar ran for another 70. Just an all-around great performance from this Ravens offense, but the defense was so bad in the second half. After being really strong in the first half, the depth on that D-line hurt. They got caught out there. They just didn't have guys to go get after Allen. They were running around, and they got worn ragged. Now, everyone talked about the Jair Alexander signing, and I tried to warn everybody, Jair Alexander ain't that good of a cornerback, especially now. He is a scheme merchant. He is not a coverage guy. And he never really was, always got safety help over the top. And even with those two Baltimore safeties out there, they could only do so much. Kyle Hamilton banged up his hand, so that's a question mark. They need another help at linebacker. Roquan Smith was solid, so really tough loss for them. But if you take the positives out of it, this clearly looked like one of the best, if not the best football teams when it was all said Sunday. Like, they were phenomenal on offense. Defense definitely needs to fix it, and it is a real thing. They cannot protect these double-digit leads with John Harbaugh at head coach. It's really insane because the Ravens team is built to ice games away. You have an insanely good quarterback who's great with play action, can read, and is one of the best athletes and runners on the field. Pair that with King Henry, who is a mauler at running back, to just grind teams down. So it's so bizarre that they can't win these football games. So we'll see how this affects the Ravens, because this could be a loss that derails them. I don't think it will. I think the Ravens are going to be just fine and maybe have a little bit extra revenge, ready for that AFC playoff run. Ravens here at number 3. All right, number 2, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, you're defending Super Bowl champions. Take care of business at home in a weird game against the Dallas Cowboys, but I do have some concerns. The offensive line clearly banged up. We saw Landon Dickerson go out. I mean, Jordan Mailata wasn't great at left tackle. They got beat a lot, and the play calling was a concern. Kellen Moore, now head coach of the New Orleans Saints, and the play calling just wasn't crisp. That team felt so unmotivated out there. Like, Jesus, they looked like they were walking on air going against the Cowboys. Maybe they thought the Cowboys would just roll over and die. Teams aren't going to do that in the NFL. Offense was weird. A.J. Brown had 1 reception for 8 yards, and he didn't catch it till like the last drive of the game. Saquon was okay, did have a touchdown there. Jalen Hurts looked really sharp early in this game, but most of his plays were just rolling out and scrambling. Guys were not getting open. The route combos were terrible, and Hurts just made really nice plays with his legs. And you know what? Throwing the ball, he was just kind of whatever. Man, they did enough to win the game. The lightning delay was weird, kind of set the mood off, and then the Eagles defense was terrible. They couldn't stop the Cowboys at all until the lightning delay. But now, Jalen Carter, your best defensive player and the key to your entire scheme, getting that interior pressure up the middle, like he gets tossed first play of the game. Hard to adjust. They got to figure some things out. Quinion Mitchell drew a couple penalties. He did all right out there. We'll see how this back end holds up. So I have a lot of questions with the Eagles, but they got to win week 1. They are the defending champs. They are going to tend to get the benefit of the doubt. So Eagles here at number 2 and number 1 in the NFC. Okay, and at number 1, I got the Buffalo Bills, because nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Incredible win. Josh Allen, Superman type performance out there. 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. This team looked dead, down 15 with 4 minutes left in this game. Kind of a weird, fluky game. You get a lucky bounce on 4th down, catch a touchdown. I just loved what I saw from this offense. James Cook contributed. Josh Allen, maybe affirming that MVP, didn't think he needed to, was incredible. The protection was actually good. It held up pretty well. Allen early in the game had more time than he thought he did. Keon Coleman coming on strong, man. If they can get a guy like Keon Coleman to emerge in this offense, that's going to pay massive for them, because Keon Coleman was a great college receiver at Florida State. So if we can get more production out of him, Khalil Shakir has the incredible trust with Josh Allen. He's also efficient. Dalton Kincaid, healthy out there finally after being banged up, really helped that offense too from the tight end spot. You also have Dawson Knox contributing. I love what I saw from the Bills offense. Now the defense is a train wreck. They can't stop the run, still can't stop the run. Pretty banged up in the secondary as well. So there is a lot of concerns for this defense. But when you get a win like that, when you have a guy at quarterback as good as Josh Allen, when you have a team that still hasn't won or made a Super Bowl, that hunger is real, that drive is real. And if now, then when for this Buffalo Bills squad. So I have the Bills here at number 1 after maybe winning the game of the season on Sunday night. But that's going to do it for us today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who do I have too high? Who am I too low on? Where do you want to disagree? I love all the comments. Let me know your feedback. If you guys haven't already, drop a quick like on this video. Hit that sub button. We got all sorts of content for you guys. We're going to have long form content every single day of the football season. That means long form videos or a live stream every day during football season. It's a whole lot of fun. If you want to go check out one of your teams in person, head on over to SeatGeek. Use code afterthereview for $20 off your first purchase. That's SeatGeek.com, code afterthereview for $20 off your first purchase. And if you want to check out, if you play fantasy football, head on over to the Catch Fantasy Football for all your fantasy football needs. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.